Good morning, everyone. Bow our heads for a word of prayer. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you this day. We ask you to watch over this board and give us the wisdom to make the best decisions we can for everyone concerned. We ask you to look over this crazy world of ours right now and do what you can to make everybody get along and be better. These things we ask in Jesus' name, amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You're late, Angela.
Yeah, sorry.
Plan.
Glad that's on record.
I'm glad you called me out.
All right, Commissioner Harville.
Here.
Commissioner Pitts.
Here.
Commissioner Miller.
Here.
Commissioner Bierstadt.
Here.
Commissioner Gould.
Having a quorum, I'll call the meeting to order. First item, approval of minutes from our regular meeting held on August 23rd. Everyone had a chance to look at those.
I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Harville.
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts.
Yes.
Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
Commissioner Bierstadt.
Yes.
Public comments. None, Jeff? One of these days, you're gonna have something to say. We'll wait. Committee reports.
Well, next, I had something pretty important come up. I had to miss my last meeting, so I'll make it the next time.
Guys, I don't have nothing to report on animal control and all that due to the fact that I just got back on vacation and I haven't had a chance to get out there.
I've been out there a couple times this week. It's looking good. They've got it cleaned out. Hopefully, I hadn't been the last day or so. They were supposed to get the air turned on and get it. The wall panels, they've got to set for 2 or 3 days in a climate control before they start putting them up. But it's moving along. It should be. I asked if we were still on schedule for possibly completion this month. And it's kind of iffy, but they're still thinking that they're gonna get that, so, they've got it all graded off. Hopefully they were gonna try to get it seeded and so forth before the rain. But it's looking good, so,
I believe they seeded it yesterday.
really good. Anybody else? Okay, building permits, big item today.
We have a lot. The first one is for parcel number 103306784. It's at 5570 Illinois Route 3 in Wolf Lake for Dino Nobel, a solar installation, no subdivision. It is in a floodplain, but it meets the requirements for protection from flooding, and it is recommended for approval. Before I go on, do you want to talk about that, Jeff?
Well, that one, most of their development's been working with it for about 2 years on this. So they moved most of it out of the floodplain. There's just a little corner that's in the floodplain. But these panels are gonna set from like 3 foot off the ground to 11 foot. And the one corner, there might be like a 100-year flood, we put a couple inches on the bottom of the panels. So I got a thing from the manufacturer, the panels, they're like, these are made all conditions, they'll work underwater. So they're not gonna sustain any damage, you know, if there were to be a flood. So, which is basically the whole thing of, you know, putting things in the floodplain. If there's no damage, then, I mean, you can kind of move forward with it, so.
I know, I noticed on there, and I think we discussed this a little, but it's something we need to look at, that they don't have to pay a fee for this. I mean, I don't know how that,
I think in the past, what the assessor's office has not actually even required people to get permits to do solar if it's just to provide for their own use. Now this one, it's just providing for their own use, but it's obviously more than 10 panels on the roof, you know, the typical thing they've been dealing with. So I don't know if we need clarification from the board on going forward, because this is a pretty big development, 1.7 acres of panels, which help, but it's just gonna be their own facility,
So
so.
I'm just curious, I mean, I don't know what everybody else thinks, but with that becoming quite the thing to do now, if that's something we need to visit and look at as far as everybody.
I know other counties have started putting ordinances together with that, and that's when we get contacted quite a bit asking for if there are any zoning ordinance or anything like that with solar.
Because
There's other counties doing it, but I don't.
I think I sent Angie, I got a copy, like, Pulaski County's they're gonna have a huge development, so they passed an ordinance, and I got a copy of theirs. And yes, maybe going forward, do we need something to kind of regulate these, because I'm kind of working with two other individuals that are planning pretty big, not huge, but,
I think.
I think there's gonna be a lot more of it happen, so do we need some? And right now, basically, the building permit's the only thing that applies.
Yeah.
If you wanna do it, there's no rules, regulations.
Well, I just think for cosmetic appearance and so forth throughout the county, I think it could become a problem. And I think we need to at least look at that and discuss it later on, so we would.
And then the whole issue as far as the fee, I wanted them to get one so they're kind of protected and the county's protected, because there is a little sliver in the floodplain. If FEMA ever came back, like, no, we've approved it, looked at it, we've got the documentation, it's not gonna, sustain damage, so.
I
But we didn't charge them a fee, so
think we need to look into all of it, including fee,
yeah.
structure and so forth. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine.
No.
That was probably the most complicated of those building permits. The next one is parcel number 0129000408 at 7730 Wing Hill Road in Cobden for Robert Itilis and Sharon Fletcher. Pole barn, no subdivision, no floodplain, recommended for approval. The next one is parcel number 140012235. It's on Shannon Lake Lane in Anna. It's for Michael Dillard. It's a home previously subdivided, no floodplain, recommended for approval. Next is parcel number 0436029092. It's at 785 Bradshaw Road in Cobden. It is for Tom and Tracy Kirkland. It's a home, no subdivision, no floodplain, recommended for approval. The next one is parcel number 0115001242. It's at 255 Mount Hebron Road in McKanda. It's for Roger Keith Phillips. It's a cabin, no subdivision, no floodplain, recommended for approval. The next one is 140011579. It's at 850 Old Highway 51 North in Anna. It's for Crystal Schroeder. It's a new shed, previously subdivided, no floodplain, recommended for approval. The next one is parcel number 0518033312. The address is 1235 Old Highway 51 North in Anna for Dylan McCann. It's a deck, previously subdivided, no floodplain, recommended for approval. Next is parcel number 070305148B. It's at 31 State Route 127 in Alto Pass for Edward Heist. It's a garage, no subdivision, no floodplain, recommended for approval. And the last one is parcel number 0434028860. It's at 1480 John Bridge School Road in Anna. It is for Cody and Brooke Hubble. It's a home/garage, no subdivision, no floodplain, recommended for approval. Lots of building going on right now. 9.
That's a good thing. What, we average about 30 a year normally?
I think this makes 36 for the year, we got 9 today, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I'm gonna take that as a positive thing.
It's a good thing.
People have decided to go ahead and spend the money, or they're looking forward to November, one or the other.
You know, several of them were new houses too, you know, so I mean, it's
Yeah.
good.
It's definitely a plus. We'll probably go 6 months now without any, you're saying that. Any questions on the building permits?
This one shed, it's gonna be a stick-built shed, it's not a prefab shed,
Which one are you talking about?
Yeah, I think it's a stick though.
stick-built,
That's why
assuming, okay. Would it make a difference?
no, I mean, I think, I'm not sure. They require permits for,
That's a Tammy question.
yeah, if that's Tammy, if she requires permits. I don't recall seeing any for like a cook building, but a lot of times, you know, say whatever,
I don't, they
16
said
by
they
20.
just want to have a porch on it, so,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I don't think we require building
No,
permits
if
if it's a
it's
cook
a-
portable warehouse.
If it's portable,
No.
up ground.
I think the city of Anna does.
Jonesville does too, because of
The zoning.
the zoning thing of it, but outside city limits now.
Anything else? Motion to approve.
I second that.
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Bierstadt?
Yes. Old business intergovernmental agreement between the Illinois Department of Healthcare and Family Services and the County of Union. We're ready to do that today, I think, since you're here. Do you want to address that, Andy?
Absolutely. So this is something I've been working on for the last year. Essentially, this program is going to allow us to recover some of the costs that are covered by Medicare payments. So essentially, the way it works is, last October, I sent in a cost report, and it shows how much it costs for us to run for every single call we run. Then they take and they divide up the portion of our calls that are strictly Medicare, and that's how they determine what our supplemental payments would be. And then each quarter, they're gonna send us an invoice, which I have just received an invoice that if we do approve this one will go into effect as soon as we make this payment. Within 30 days, we'll get the first supplemental payments from it. So essentially what they do is they take 50% of the interim payments that we've received. We send those to them, and then they will take and they will send us that plus the supplemental payments back through our normal clearinghouse. So in Lake Egypt and Jackson County, they've averaged around $200,000 to $300,000 a year by doing this. And by comparing what their rate is for general payments to what our rate is, and knowing that our rate isn't fully covering our costs, we're looking at maybe $150,000 to $175,000 a year by doing this. There's really no negatives for us. It's gonna help us cover the cost of what it actually is to run these runs for Medicare.
The money we would never get back to begin with, right? Unless we-
Yeah, because you can't challenge Medicare.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So you're saying they send us the money, then we send it back to them, and then they send us more?
Yeah, because their departments don't talk to each other, because essentially, we're getting paid by a federal account, but Illinois DHS is handling the actual function of this program. So we have
So
to.
basically, federal sending us money, then we're sending it to the
So
state?
federal is sending us, we send what we send, they pay what they're paying. They're not gonna pay us what we're charging or what it cost us. And then we send showing, all right, here's what they paid us at this rate. They compare it to the rate that we should be getting because of what it cost us, and then they send us that payment back.
Sounds like a couple interactions that we have here.
Yeah. It's the move the ball trick, but it's gonna come out in our favor.
Gotta go from one account to another, as we track.
Any other questions?
Is this something new, Cody, or was it just started? Or we just kind of behind?
Well, we're a couple years behind, but they've kind of been working on how it all works out, and like the intergovernmental agreement is fairly new. It's similar to how the new EMA agreement is, since they're now part of, Department of Homeland Security, so now they want each individual government to sign the agreement so that it's, more kosher.
Has the time frame been good for receiving payment?
So the agreement actually says that they have to send it within 30 days of receiving the payment from us.
That'll be interesting to track.
Could you give us an update on your employee status over in your department?
So currently, we are short 3 full-time employees. I interviewed a part-time employee last week, and later today, I've got another employee that is interviewing.
You're still a bit shy, aren't you?
Yep, along with every other EMS agency in the country.
Keep putting it up there and I'll keep sharing it.
I make a motion, we approve the intergovernmental agreement between the Illinois Department of Health Care and Family Services and the County of Union as presented.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Bierstadt?
Yes.
Moving on, new business, approved payment of bills. Everybody had a chance to look at the bill list? Any questions?
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Bierstadt?
Yes.
I was just waiting for dramatic.
Oh, my bad. Yeah.
Item B, weekly or monthly routine here, approve attorney fee bills, extra bills.
Yep, you have 5 bills, for this meeting. It's $7,267.62.
That's total.
That's the total for 5 bills.
Okay. Make a motion, we approve the extra attorney fee bills.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Bierstadt?
Yes.
What are we at as far as the total?
I honestly don't know, Max. I'd have to go back and look at it. I mean, we're way over budget right now, but like I said, we didn't know they were gonna double the fee. The state of Illinois increased it from 75, when we did the budget, I budgeted at $75 an hour, and then they made us pay 150. So obviously, we were gonna go over. I will say that I had a call yesterday with Judge Denny, and he and I are gonna meet next week and see how many of these bills can be paid out of our public defender grant. Because we did get a grant for the public defender office, and these are third part, basically conflict public defenders. So we're gonna go through the bills that we've paid even for the last year and see how many of them. It can't cover juvenile bills, because that's not what the grant is for, because those aren't really public defenders, they're guardian ad litem. But for the rest of them, we think that we may be able to get, the grant to pay some of that money, so hopefully.
Get any reimbursement for what we've already paid?
Yes, we're gonna go back to the beginning of this fiscal year and look at all of them. So I printed a report yesterday and sent it to him. He's looking at it, and then we're gonna meet next week.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Item C, local public agency engineering services agreement. Jeff, you wanna?
Well, this is just, that's been an addendum to an existing engineering agreement we have. Once we got far enough in with the design of the project, we're gonna have to acquire a couple parts of the right of way. So this is just for like doing the surveying for that added right of way, preparation of the deeds, that sort of thing, legal descriptions. So it's just an addendum it's for the Mount Pisgah Bridge project.
That's down there by the church, isn't it?
Just one of the churches.
It's close to the county line.
real close, yes.
Where exactly is the county line through there?
Roughly quarter mile south of there.
About 4 miles, up or by the church?
Yeah, right before you get to the church. Yes. Between the bridge and the church.
Any other questions? Make a motion, we approve the local public agency engineering services agreement as presented.
Second it.
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Bierstadt?
Yes.
Item D, fiscal year 2024 budget amendment. This is normal housekeeping this time of year, finishing up the budget. I'm going to suggest that we table this till next meeting. I think by then probably we'll have a complete total, just do it one time. Right?
Yes. Yeah, so this is for the current year's budget to
Right.
amend it, what people have spent over. I've got about half of it done, but we could do it and then we'd have to do it again next meeting, so we could just do it as one.
I said, we do this every year. I mean, it always ends up having to move some money around to make it all balance out. So again, I make a motion that we table this till next meeting.
I can second that.
We'll just table it.
Anything for executive session? Other business, anyone?
I mean, the only thing, we're gonna start on the Lick Creek Road, like the asphalt shoulders, the week of the 23rd. So just, and let the public know that might allow a little time going to work or be careful and we're gonna be at the 6-inch trench in front of people's driveways. So the residents kind of try to work with us and we'll try to keep everybody access, but there's gonna be some, interruptions to everybody's daily business.
What's the estimation, how long? Okay.
I mean, that part should only take a couple of weeks. But then there's signs, fixing the pavement markers, and there's some other traffic stuff. So,
Anything else? We'll just FYI informational ad here, tomorrow from 2 to 4, if anybody's interested, Anna Heights Baptist Church is gonna have a birthday celebration for the former county clerk and board member Bobby Toller. So, public's invited, anybody wants to show up and wish Bobby a happy birthday.
It's a surprise from what I was
Yeah,
told.
that's what I understand.
So hopefully he's not watching, but
Yeah. Anyway, I was asked.
It's fine, that's
I was
it.
asked to announce it, so probably should have done it personally. Anyway, he's probably not watching. He's
Yeah.
tired of this. All right. Anything else? Get a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Mr. Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Bierstadt?
Yes.
Yes.